Regardless of your skill level, I have a defensive playbook that you can start locking down with in your next game of CFB 26. Whether you like to run man, zone, blitz, or play coverage, I have something that can drastically transform your defense so long as you don't skip out on any of the plays or playbooks I'm breaking down today. If that sounds good to you, let's jump right into it. The first playbook I'm going to break down is the simplest defense that you can run here in CFB 26 from the 3-2-6 playbook. Let me show you. Alright, so first we're going to come here into nickel single mug or 2-4 single mug, right? So we want to make sure that we have the right defensive settings turned on, something I talk about all the time in my other defensive videos, but we're going to call single mug and calling the Texas 4-man custom stunt because this is the easiest defense here in this game that you can actually run, because what you're going to notice is if you spread your defensive line by pressing D-pad left and then left stick up, and then you press RB right stick up to pass commit, you're just going to see how, this is just going to be a nightmare. Either you're going to walk in free, it's going to be a nightmare for the offense, but you're either just going to walk in free or you're going to do a great job of collapsing the pocket against a 4-man rush. Now, what do we know? Most people, they either don't touch their pass protection or they just revert to base protection, and this is the base protection killer, because what you're going to notice is you're going to make sure that you're turning that center towards the right, or so towards the right sideline here. Look at number 72, boom, turn him towards the right, and then he's going to block this man now, the guy that loops in free on the right side, but that just completely takes his attention away from this guy who comes in completely untouched. So really, you get both of those guys to loop, and the center pretty much just picks his poison, and he's going to have nowhere to go. He's going to be in no man's land, and again, it's only a 4-man rush, so you're back into coverage to take away whatever could be breaking open over the middle of the field. So we go with it again, boom, try to turn this guy outside, and then you're just going to see how that's an example of if they use empty protection instead, this is still going to be good. Like a good offensive player is going to switch probably to empty at some point, but it's still going to be good because you're collapsing the pocket by looping and stunting, and you're just able to get that quick pressure. But base protection again right here, and then we're once again able to collapse the pocket while I'm back into coverage. If you accidentally get caught on the center like I did right here, then you need to make sure you're spamming the A button on Xbox or X on PlayStation to again get off the block as quickly as possible. So really, that's the first defense here from the 3-2-6 playbook that's going to be really effective. But if we come into 3-4 odd, okay, this is going to be one that not a lot of people, very few people have seen before, right? So this is one that I would say probably for a key situation, but all you're going to do is user this mid-read defender, and you're going to shift your defensive line to the left and then blitz your inside linebacker. So now it's going to look something like this, and really if you wanted to, you could drop this man into a zone or you could leave him blitzing. It kind of just depends on what you need, but you do already have this vertical right here over the middle, so I don't necessarily know if that's necessary. But all you have to do, press RB right stick up to pass commit. You really don't even have to do anything with your user as far as getting the attention of the offensive line. You can go straight back and lurk. You don't need to occupy the center, the guard, nothing. You see, I don't do any of that right here, and it's really just an overload. Because it's just overload, we have 4 guys on the same side where they have 3, so you have a 4-on-3 advantage, again making it to where these guys go to double team and then they just leave this man in a 1-on-1. The great thing also is that if they decide to block their running back, what's typically going to happen is that running back is going to be in a 1-on-1 blocking situation against your versus your linebacker. So we go with it again, boom, he comes in free, Jam Miller sees it, recognizes it, but he's still going to get shedded. At that point, it might buy them an extra 1.5 2 seconds, but that also means that they don't have like a quick safety outlet that they can just hit in the middle of the field. So Jam Miller steps up, blocks for maybe a second, but I'm doing a great job of lurking over the middle, and you can also put hard flats in the field if you really want to take away the quick flat. But really, here from 3-4 odd, creating the overload, shifting your defensive line to the left to create the 4-on-3 when you blitz your inside linebacker, and then you're just going to see how you have more guys on one side than they have blockers, making the 3-2-6 playbook with both of these defenses and blitzes super simple. Alright, so if you found that breakdown of the 3-2-6 playbook helpful here in CFB 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down college football 26 tips and tricks every single day to help you guys get better, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you want my full 3-2-6 defensive ebook, which goes through the full videos, screenshots, write-ups, everything you're going to need to lock down from this playbook, go to the link down below in the pinned comment. You can grab it today by using code YouTube to get 20% off. That was just a piece of the puzzle. We have way more blitzes, coverages, red zone defense, again, everything you're going to need. So I highly recommend you check it out. But let's jump right back into the video, because next I want to break down the most underrated defense in the game. Again, if you're calling defenses that people haven't really played against, labbed against, that's going to work to your favor tremendously on defense. Let me show you that underrated one though. Alright, so we're going to come into dime and we're going to come into 2-3 odd, alright? And so this is going to be very unique because, like I said, not enough people have seen this, but we're basically going to be safety blitzing them. So we have free safety zone blitz here in this playbook. We also have strong safety zone blitz. So really what we're going to do is take this linebacker right here and stand directly over the guard. We're also going to shade our coverage down to make sure that we have hard flats in the field, press RB, right stick up to pass commit. Alright, and so really what you're trying to do is, if you look at the play art, essentially this linebacker and this safety over here are running to the same spot. They're running to the same gap, and so what happens is 71, the guard is going to block the one that runs in first, the linebacker, and then the safety is going to be able to come in free on a delayed rush. So we're going to show that right here. Boom, take it, turn him inside, and honestly both of them kind of came in free right there because I moved him inside. So you don't really have to, like, you could just get back into coverage immediately. You don't even have to try to influence the offensive line just because the way this play is set up. But I would still recommend you do it because, especially when they're in like empty protection, if I can get onto the guy, when they're in like empty protection, you turn 71 all the way inside, and he's just so late to recognizing this that this guy's already in the backfield by the time he ends up blocking him. So that could really work to your advantage, you know. But like I said, if you really feel like you need to like be right here to take away like a quick seam pass, I wouldn't really blame you for it, and it's certainly something that you could do. But again, we're going to have them take the snap, try to turn this guy inside, and then that free safety is able to come through the same gap that the linebacker came through, but he's just going to come in a little bit later, which means that all the blocks are pretty much set up by the time he ends up getting his pressure. So again, RB, right stick up to pass commit, boom, take the snap, turn him inside, and then that free safety comes flying in free. And the most important thing for you is making sure, again, you're usering well over the middle. You're taking away drags, backside digs, posts, whatever they could have breaking open, because the reality is you're going to get a lot of people trying to make panic reads, you know, down the field, or especially underneath, because they're getting screamed at. So you just notice how, there's really nowhere for them to go either. Like, we have contains in the field, we have fast defensive linemen, so if you can collapse the pocket or just get a guy to come in completely untouched, it's going to be really easy for you. But what if they block their running back? Well, then they have the advantage. It's going to be 6-on-5, but we're still going to be able to collapse the pocket well, especially if you have like a bigger safety, because the running back will step up and then just get rammed through. So again, boom, take it, turn this guy inside, and then that time you see it how the running back doesn't even recognize him. Like, he steps up to go block someone else, and that's what allows for our, you know, linebacker to just come in untouched. So you see how I turn 71 all the way inside, so it's like a swoop motion, and then I'm back over the middle of the field. But then, like, this linebacker comes in free because the blocking targeting 71 would rather block the safety for some reason, and Jam Miller is actually blocking nobody on this play. So you see how 6 against or 5 against 6, and yet we're still able to just walk in the backfield completely untouched. So like I said, a very unique kind of concept here, safety blitzing. You could bluff them. You notice how the safety walks down every time. You could put that guy in a zone assignment a few plays and then blitz him, so you could mix up the looks, give them the same look every time, but then just change up what you're actually doing. So you have a lot of options here with this play, but free safety zone blitz here from dime 2-3 odd, one of the most underrated defenses in the game. Alright, before I jump into that final defensive playbook here in CFB 26 that you're absolutely not going to want to miss, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. Again, I'm the only one right now breaking down college football 26 tips and tricks on YouTube every single day, so I'm really the best channel to learn and take information from. So what are you doing? Go down below, hit that subscribe button. It's literally free, and let's jump jump into that final playbook, because that's going to be the best overall defensive playbook in my opinion right now in CFB 26. It really feels like a custom playbook that you need to start using. Let me show you. Because we're going to be in the 4-3 multiple defensive playbook here, and we're going to first come into mid blitz 0, all right? Because this is going to be your automatic run defense here from this playbook, all right? If you need to stop an inside run, whether it's a clock situation at the end of a game, whatever it is, you need to come into mid blitz. The reason why is you're going to take this linebacker who is opposite the halfback. So if the halfback was on the left side, I would flip it and I would use this guy. But since he's on the right side of the quarterback, I'm going to take this guy Jefferson, the left A-gap rusher, and drag him over the center just like this, right? And so what you're going to notice is a flame icon is going to appear over the head of your linebacker just like this. And so now you're just going to be able to, he's going to walk in completely untouched. Now, you notice right there how I come up and dive tackle Jam Miller, because the reality is they can still speed boost away from you, right? They could, right? It's going to be tough for them even if you don't, just because the inside zone handoffs aren't exactly the best, but like they have the opportunity to speed boost as soon as they take the handoff, and if you give them that opportunity to, you're going to make, really elite offensive players will do really great stick work are going to take advantage of that. So if you just take the snap, press X to dive tackle, now that time he just kind of whipped the tackle, so having a guy with a high tackle rating as high as possible is going to make this the most consistent. Also, Jam Miller's a really good running back, but the most consistent thing is to just walk up to him and then press the X button on Xbox or Square on PlayStation to be able to cut his legs out and bring him down. So again, boom, take it, and then we're just going to dive tackle the ball carrier in the backfield just like that for just an easy TFL. So we go with it again. Boom, all you have to do, because what you're doing is just retargeting the offensive line. If you notice how when you call it like this, there's the flame icon over the head of the DN, which means that they can just run right through this defense, right? But as soon as I move over here, literally, boom, one step over, and now I have the flame icon over that man. And so again, they take the snap, you press X, dive tackle that ball carrier, cut out his legs, don't allow him to get into a tackle battle with you, don't allow him to speed boost away from you. And so just like that, you're going to be able to stop pretty much every inside run in the game, whether it's base, whether it's inside zone. There's a lot of different ones, like 0-1 trap would be a good one to stop. So anytime you really need to stop an inside breaking run, you're going to come into mid blitz 0 and do just that. But also, the second thing I want to break down here from this playbook, and really kind of the bread and butter of this defense here, is having a go-to blitz. And so you're going to call Mike blitz 0 here. You're going to drop this outside linebacker into a curl flat, and you're going to shift your defensive line to the left just like this. All right, so now you're going to press RB, right stick up to pass commit, and if you stand 2 yards over the left shoulder of the center like this, when they take the snap, you immediately press your D-pad to the right. The reason why you're going to do this is you're trying to D-pad switch kick onto that guy and create, like we talked about from, 3-4 odd, you're trying to create a 4-on-3 advantage on the left side of the line, which is going to make it impossible for them to actually block. You notice how, again, you D-pad switch kick literally as soon as the ball snapped. You see how, Ty Simpson just touched the ball, and now I'm D-pad switch kick onto this man, which means that I'm easily going to be able to create the 4-on-3. And honestly, I felt like I was a half second late right there to actually pressing my D-pad to the right, because the longer you wait, the harder you make this. Like if I take this snap right here and then wait to do it, it's just that's a shed. That's not an automatic kind of run in the backfield. So if you don't press your D-pad to the right to switch onto that man immediately, you're going to make your blitz worse. So obviously I'm snapping the ball here for the offense, but for you in a game, and when I play in games, it's you have to be so sound. Like a good defensive end in football, you have to be able to get off the ball as fast as possible. And so here you have to be able to press your D-pad to the right as fast as possible to even give yourself a chance to get this 4-on-3 advantage. So again, boom, press D-pad to the right, and the faster you press it, the easier it is. And then again, your back end coverage to take away the middle of the field, to take away the sideline, whatever you need to do. I would recommend having a will linebacker or a Mike in this spot so that you can actually have a guy who can lurk around, play pass defense, guard drags like this, because again, they're going to try to look to their quick hitters, but if you take them away with your user, they're going to have nowhere to go, and they're just going to be taking sacks just like that. And again, even if they block the running back here, you're just going to notice how he's just going to get annihilated at the point of attack. Then you could drop this man into a hook curl if you knew they were blocking their running back, so then you could just press D-pad up, Jam Miller steps up, and immediately gets pushed his way into the quarterback. So really, that's what makes the 4-3 multiple defensive playbook so valuable. You have automatic run defense to make them one-dimensional, and then when they try to drop back pass, you have a glitch blitz here from Mike Blitz 0, simply when you shift your defensive line to the left, just like this. Alright, so if you found that breakdown of the top 3 defensive playbooks helpful here in CFB 26, make sure you go down below with that subscribe button. Again, I'm the only one right now who's breaking down college football 26 tips and tricks every single day here on YouTube, so you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you want my full 3-2-6 or 4-3 multiple defensive ebooks, go to the link down below in the pinned comment. You can grab them today by using code YouTube to get 20% off. They both go through the full video, screenshots, write-ups, everything you're going to need to lock down defense from either one of those playbooks, and it's what has me dominating every single game. But if you want to see a gameplay of me running that 3-2-6 defense, check out this video right here. I'll see you over there. Peace.